This is Wacko Bob, and I got a video response I want to do here where it involves what we just saw with Dawn Marie and the two videos that came out involving her. Well, I do want to say this is the fact that Dawn Marie, you're on my show, The Dark Match, when it was on. Yeah, it was arranged by someone named Casey Carnage, who turned out to be nothing more than a fool and a fraud himself. You know, he lied through his teeth about things. And let's go over some of the things. You brought up Jimmy Snuka, you brought up Michael Porter, you brought up Steve Williams, you brought up Kamala, and you brought up Marty Jannetty. Well, I'm not going to bring up anything with Marty Jannetty, you know, even though a fellow Christian like Marty Jannetty would, I think would want to consult with another Christian, but I'm not going to go there. However, what you told would be lucky to be half truth. All I ask is that Dawn Marie tell the truth. You know, that's all I'm asking. Tell the truth. Because I'm connected to Michael Porter. The issues that were going on with Michael Porter go a lot further than that. And I do believe Paula Joe when she says you are more than happy to help Michael Porter out. I do not believe what you said. Casey Carnage said it was that way. And truth is, you're going by words of what Casey Carnage said. Michael Porter was a ring announcer for a long time. Get used to that fact. Get that right. Michael Porter spent 4 decades in the wrestling business. Get used to that. Understand that. That's number one. Number two, there was 20 to 25 wrestlers that were more than willing to donate stuff because Paula Joe was going to do things through you, and you were willing to help. Well, I want to admit to this. Wrestlers Rescue was something new, but let's talk Michael Porter. When it came time for the world to know about Wrestlers Rescue and everything, the first show you did it on was Michael Porter's Wrestle Shoot. And there was a special simulcast that was done with my show. And we talked about that. You were also on my show, The Dark Match, and you did refer to Wrestlers Rescue as a non-profit group. Wrestling Relief was never brought up. And then I heard what was happening, because Casey Carnage, who was overly possessive about his spot in Wrestlers Rescue, the damn alcoholic that he is, the damn criminal that he is, so that shows you the type of person Casey Carnage is, was making sure Michael Porter didn't get the help. Why? Because he simply did not like Michael Porter, and you took his word as the gospel truth. What happened to all that stuff? Originally, I'll tell you this right now, when the stuff went down on you a couple of years ago, and it looked like you were being looked at, what did Casey Carnage say? There were only 3 autographed pictures of Chris Masters. Now you're saying there was actually more than that. There are wrestlers that did donate stuff. I don't buy a single thing you said there because it's half-truth at best. Get it right, Don. Get it right. You remember what you did on my show, The Dark Match. You remember what I did for people who called into the show. I started out with $20 and I went up $5 more each time. In the end, I gave $50. But then again, I'm an honest wage earner. If I knew that there was some speculation of anything that goes on with charities, I wouldn't give to them. That includes Wrestlers Rescue at this point. Now, I heard from Michael Porter, who was suffering at the time. Some of us started putting things together and everything, and I even had someone come on the show when it was going on that always referred to you, forgive my language here, as a cum-guzzling twat waffle. And that person is now working for Wrestlers Rescue. Where's your integrity and where's his? Yes, I'm talking about Vinny the Guido. Where's the integrity there with either one of you two? And now you're trying to call Kamala a fraud? You're trying to call someone who has no legs a fraud? It certainly doesn't look like he's a fraud to me if he's showing that he has no legs when he lost to diabetes. And let's get something straight there. I found out that there was 2 times money was sent to Wrestlers Rescue for it to be sent. Then he says he gave out 2 checks. He said that to Paula Joe. Paula Joe called me up with this. Now, I'm going to say this. Paula Joe probably shouldn't have said much of anything. Why? Because it turned out Kamala did see a check, and he was sending it back to you. Why? Because he had pride. Because who took care of him? Cauliflower Alley Club. Who took care of people like Bobby Heenan? Cauliflower Alley Club. Who took care of Steve Williams? Cauliflower Alley Club. I don't see anything that says that. And now you're saying, oh, we're going to put a stop payment on it. Well, that's what Vinny the Guido said. So Vinny went overboard as compared to you. And he won't receive that money. Well, we already know where the fraud is there. He sent the check back because he wasn't going to take it. Good thing for James Harris. He has some pride. And I'm hoping to get James Harris on my morning show to talk about this. You'll learn more about that as time goes on. But that's the bottom line. Then you started playing the game of let's stop payment. That's what Vinny the Guido did. Well, we know Vinny the Guido went on record because why? He was on my variety show. We're always referring to you as a cum-guzzling twat waffle who never did anything for the business. And he would never have anything to do with you. Now he does, and now you're dealing with him. Why didn't you tell the truth that you were threatening with lawsuits and everything, having your lawyer send stuff out to people like Michael Porter? Oh, incidentally, by the way, just for the record, you know Michael Porter passed away because he didn't get the help he should have gotten. You watered that down. Something bad done. No respect for you. You and the rest of the internet wrestling community have turned wrestling into what it is today. It's more criminal than anything else. Why don't you tell the truth? I haven't talked to Jimmy Snuka. I haven't heard anything negative. I'll leave Jimmy Snuka alone. Maybe his wife is working with you. But I think, the Bobby Heenans and Jimmy Snukas of the world wouldn't have gotten their help if the things that were coming down on you a year and a half, 2 years back weren't going on. That those things were not happening. But you know what? They were. The only one that didn't get threatened with $100,000 lawsuits and everything else and threatened with all that was me. But you threatened a sick man. You referred to a man with no legs as fraud. Steve Williams is dead. He can't defend himself. Michael Porter is dead, and he defended himself, and you took things the other way. And for someone who was a good friend and was the co-host with Michael Porter for the last part of his life before he passed away with Michael Porter's Wrestle Shoot was Vinny the Guido. All I can say is I'm disappointed in Vinny the Guido, Casey Carnage, forget Casey Carnage, and you, Don. Michelle Mupo, I was hoping that you at least would market the truth. And Baby Doll, you and I have been friends for a long time, for almost as long as I was doing the dark match and as long as I've been on radio. You've seen the good times and the bad times out of me. And just for the record, if anyone could talk about what happened with Sam Houston, it would be Nicola. I'm good friends with Sam Houston, too. I haven't talked to him since he was in jail. Oh, yeah. Sam went to jail. I forgot about that. I feel bad for Sam. And Sam, if you're listening to this, I'd like to talk to you one day. Because even you would help get the record straight here. I know you've got enough pride in you to do that. And Baby Doll, I know you got a lot of pride in what you're saying there. But Baby Doll is the one who's calling out those phony checks that you showed that are being copied. The misspellings. Do you see the misspellings of the bank? Do you see how unprofessional that check looks? Why? Because of the lie that you guys are trying to do. Now you all are trying to call Kamala a fraud. And that's done by one of your own people. That's done by Vinny the Guido, referring to a person with no legs as a fraud. The only fraud around here is Wrestlers Rescue. You said right there on my show, The Dark Match, that you were a non-profit group. Now you're saying it's not. So where's the lie? And by the way, I lay odds that no one will see the stuff they donated back that you'd be more than willing to return if they requested their refunds. Truth is, Don, all you're trying to do is play the victim game, and you're not a victim. People like James Harris are the victims. People like Michael Porter are the victims. Tell the truth and get it right, Dawn Marie. And that's all I got to say about that.